radiophonic sound for the home is recorded on two separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra. So, good morning, hello guys, welcome to my new project, welcome to Red Flight, or we might have changed the name anytime later on, but initially the channel will be named Red Flight, so welcome to Red Flight. Maybe let's start with introducing myself. So I'm a real-life pilot, and real life I'm flying a 737. I'm a captain since like 4 years. I do some YouTube projects. Maybe you heard about the 737 aviation. And I have some smaller YouTube streaming project on Polish YouTube and my native language. So, we are in Dublin, we are on PMDG 737-800, it's a Ryanair flight. As you see, it's the famous Echo India Delta Charlie Lima airplane, which was painted by Boeing in this kind of Dreamliner livery. Some long time ago, before this paint, it was a bit different. It was as well painted in this kind of Boeing house colors, but they have changed that for some reason, and since they changed that, they have changed the radomy, they damaged the radomy, and now it's flying as this kind of hybrid something like Ryanair tail and a white nose. And I think the engine nacelles are actually white as well. At the moment it's one and only Ryanair airplane that has different livery, except of course Air Malta and Buzz. And it's, let's say, quite interesting one. I flew it myself a long time ago, so talking about me, I used to fly Ryanair, I used to fly some couple of airlines, and now I'm flying a charter airline in Europe on a Boeing 737 as well. So, getting into the flight deck, as you know, the PMDG 737 is really nicely made, so it will give you a good experience on how the systems are working and everything is set up. But we can talk about that later. We'll be flying from Dublin, which is the initial base, the first base of Ryanair, and we'll fly to Stansted. There's gonna be about 50 minutes flight, and as you see, it's already sun is rising slowly over Dublin, and you will see some nice views around the way. Dublin Stansted route at the peak time of the season can be operated up to I think 8 times a day, so that's kind of popular route. And we're gonna be flying on VATSIM. Usually I'm flying with VATSIM, so if you want to join, you're more than welcome, and you can find the flight plans and checklists in the links just below the stream. So we'll try to recreate all the procedures and all real life, let's say real life procedures that can be done in a Boeing 737. But we'll fly on the, let's say, default or generic Boeing 737 procedures and checklist, as a lot of airlines don't want to, you know, publish their procedures. So not to violate the laws, we're gonna use just a standard Boeing checklist and procedures. Getting into a flight deck in Ryanair, it will be usually powered up like this. So the battery would be on and ground power would be on, otherwise nobody would touch any panels before we come in. Just want to check if the joystick is connected. That's Echo India Delta Charlie Lima. That's quite an old airplane, so we have the Honeywell MCP and the old standby instruments, which are quite nice. You don't really see them anymore in 737s. I flew once the last season on this Honeywell MCP, which is kind of, you know, fancy in these times. So we get into the flight deck, or actually the FO would get to the flight deck, as the captain would be doing the walk around probably this time. And he'll start off doing all the tests, and he would start by going on the upper overhead panel, doing the star warning test, left, right. As you see, it's shaking the respective columns. Mach warning, number 1, number 2, oxygen level, IRS is turned off, leading edge devices, test, and then move to the fire tests, as we want to start the APU anytime soon. We want to do the fire test with 1, 2, 3 fire handles, master caution, master warning. Then we test the squibs. They should be 3 greens, and then if you go to the right we have 3 greens as well, and then we go to cargo fire, giving us the same result as the engine fire. Following that, he would take his seat probably and continue all the procedures. So go to overhead panel, switch on the yaw dampener, fuel pumps, arm the emergency exit lights, fasten seatbelts just after fueling. We will have to refuel the airplane. Window heat is on. Hydraulics, actually I told you Boeing procedures, so we leave it off and off. Voice recorder to on, packs off, recirculation fans on, isolation valve open. Landing altitude 350, flight level 370 from the flight plan. Set the lights, wheel well, engine start on the right. Then go down to MCP, expect that is 6,000 feet. Flight director is on. Auto brake, RTO. I need to set the parking brake on first. There you go. And transponder initially, let's say 2000. We are on VATSIM, but there's nobody around. So unfortunately we might not get any ATC today. I want to hear this one, and I want to set it on VHF 1, 128.8. Enter IRS position, FMC. Enter IRS position, so we go to Echo India, Delta Whiskey. Page number 2, GPS left, that's always the default one. Put it in the IRS position, and then we do have the PFD and the, which is already aligned. Okay, so at this point probably the captain would come back, he would test his oxygen, take a look on the MCP, do the PA check if needed, and after that we can start preparing. I don't know for what reason anti-skid inner light is on. Maybe if we just cancel all the maybe not. Let's start with the hydraulic pressure. Maybe it doesn't have the hydraulic pressure. Oh yeah, of course, that was the fault. And now auto brake sound. And afterwards I will switch it off again. So let's jump into the FMC. The flight plan is still in the link. There is some kind of app that I can use to bring up the PDFs, but I'm not really good in using that yet. So I'm just using my iPad, my personal iPad, and PMDG doesn't have an iPad yet, which kind of would be kind of nice feature from them. Hopefully anytime soon. Going down to the FMC ident position initialization Dublin routing is Dublin to Stansted. I could go Sierra Sierra. We are going to fly as Ryanair 42HL. Most of my flights I'm doing as 42HL. Departing out of runway 28. Not in database. What the hell do you mean not in database? Departure. 28 left, of course. There's no such thing here. But Liffey 6 Alpha. For some reason PMDG is showing 28 left. In real centuries and you will get just runway 28. Okay, going back to my flight plans. Here we go. Flying from Dublin to Stansted, Ryanair 42HL. We will be routed via, actually not Liffey, but Andek, which already I messed up. Runway 28, Andek, Quebec, Andek to Juliet. Maybe that's because I don't have the actual database yet, but okay, let's activate that. And let's see what's happening in here. Maybe if I deselect runway 28 left. Is there a point Andek in the database? And deck. It certainly is. Let's take a look, where is it? Go to Liffey and then Andek. I'm gonna do something kind of non-standard. I go Andek after the Delta Whiskey 024, which wouldn't be really correct in this kind of situation. You would have to create all the points manually. But since there's no one on the VATSIM and there's no one even close around Ireland, I would go like this. Quebec 36, 2 point, no slow. And I do have to update the database. Zulu 197, down to point Listo. Listo, sounds like a bit Spanish, huh? Execute, and departure arrival. We do have runway 04 today. Via Laurel, and it's gonna be Listo 1 Lima arrival. Let's take a look, how does it look like. Start from Listo, Paddock, Rugby, Finma, Bombo, Barkway. There's a small loop in here that you wouldn't usually fly, but sometimes it happens. Not really often, but it does happen sometimes. And then you go to runway 04 in Stansted. I'm gonna probably delete this loop if there's nobody on the ATC just before top of descent, but we're gonna leave it now like it is. We have 11.4 tons of fuel. That's kind of too much. Okay, the routing is finished. Let's do the performance and then we'll take a look on the passenger loads and the fuel and everything. Default cost index gonna be 4, the minimum fuel is 1.9. Let's go with 2. The fuel weight, we would like to have 60.9. 60.9. We're gonna be cruising at 370. Flight level 370. And I already set it on the top. For cruising wind 29335, 293/35. Transition is 6,000 feet. I know, I'm gonna change it in a second, you're gonna be able to do that. Activate and 1 limit takeoff. Yeah. So the PMDG, since it doesn't have the iPad, you can control all the loads and everything just down in here. So fuel, we'd like to have 4.6. I would take 5 tons of fuel just in case. It's already less. And the zero fuel weight, I would like to have payload 148, that's 800. Because it's set as 2 class. Okay, let's go with 2 class then. Zero fuel weight is 62.7. So we will put a bit less cargo in the back. $60.0, and yeah, that's usually the info that you will get on from the load sheet and then put it into the FMC, not like we're doing all the way around, taking the data from the load sheet, putting it into the FMC. Okay, since then we'll go back to the FMC. Now we can take a look on the performance page. 60.9, zero fuel weight, gross weight 66. The flight plan is saying 60.52, which is kind of within the limit. And then we go to N1 limit page to select temperature. We don't take any set temperature. We can derate that to 24K. And climb 2. Takeoff, we're gonna take off on flaps 5. The runway is dry. The CG was 21, which gives me 5.55 trim. And the speeds are gonna be 138, 139, 148. And we set up for 148 on the MCP. And the Boeing would say to arm the auto throttle at this point. And 5.55. Let's set that straight away, otherwise I'm gonna forget it. You know, that's not really, this indicator is not really super let's say adequate or perfect, so you can set, sometimes it's saying like 555 and some people will be going like, you know, up and down until they get 555. That's not like this. 5.5 more or less. And on the real 737 the right side would be slightly different than the left side. Of course, this marker is moving, so it's not indicated all the same, all the perfectly same like the captain's one. So wouldn't worry too much. You're still flying the airplane. If it's 5.5, you set roughly 5.5. It's far enough for that. We'll read the checklist, pre-flight checklist at the moment. Just let me find it. And again, since I'm not aware really how to use Skyfall Sim, I am still using the checklist from my iPad. You have the link to the checklist down below if you would like to follow as well. So pre-flight checklist. Oxygen is tested 100%. Navigation instrument cross transfer display switches normal auto window hit on. Precision mode selector auto. Flight instruments heading 187. Altimeter is, yeah, that's a good one. Let's go with minimums baro and hectopascals. And let's check the weather in Dublin. India Delta Whiskey Meter. One 1016, 1016, and 1016. Is this one synchronized with the captains? Yeah, it is, certainly. So flight instruments heading 187, altimeter 1016, parking brake, set engine start levers, cut off. Pre-flight check is completed. Let's do the quick nav setting now. I'm using the Navtec, not Navtec, but Navigraph. That's my bad. Navigraph charts. They sometimes getting my view stuck. Echo India Delta Whiskey. I want to disable this one. I still can move inside. We are in Dublin. And we are on this page. We are gonna be on 10-9. Somewhere in the north of this. So we're gonna taxi down via links, then runway 28 left and do departure. Oh, I didn't know the 28 right is already open. I thought it was gonna be open in 2023, but it's okay, fine. I haven't been in Dublin for a while. So I suppose if I would update my nav data, I would have this runway as well. But anyway, gonna taxi via links all the way to 28 left and then depart. 28 left, heading is 277. Two seven seven. And 277. LNAV for that, and the SID. They wanted to go via Liffey. Since I don't have the database, I'm not gonna really show you the SID in this case. But next time, I promise, I will do better than this, and I will update my databases to show you everything like it's supposed to be. Okay, so since we are almost ready, we do have the LNAV. Just have enough to go. The Dublin is NADP 2, so noise abandonment procedure number 2, but it's a bit non-standard. We'll be reducing the thrust at 1500 and accelerating 1500. Actually, that's what the FMC is saying as well, so we can arm the VNAV. And that's gonna be fully automatic LNAV VNAV. We don't do anything, or at least not much, during this departure. So since then, we are going to start the APU in preparation to start the engines, and I guess I need to close the cargo loaders, cargo holds and the door. and to get airplane ready to go. Flight sim actions, ground services. Then we have a start unit. We don't need. We can remove the chocks. And then ground power will disconnect, but the EPU is starting already, so should be available anytime. And since we had the disconnection, the yaw damper will switch off, and you have to reset auto brakes and the auto throttles. That's kind of normal, in case you lose the electric power even for a second. Dual FMC operations restored. So we don't have chocks. Then since after we can close the doors. All the doors are closed, all the ground equipment is moving back. Pushback is ready. I don't know how to push back in F Microsoft Flight Simulator, not straight, so it should be turning to the right, but I don't know how to do that actually yet, but I'll figure it out one day. Okay, so takeoff page on this side, legs page on the FO side, and we do the before start procedure, before start checklist, switch on the fuel pumps, belts on since we finished the refueling, hydraulics on, anti-collision light on, transponder to standby, or alt off depending what it's saying. And we can go through the before start checklist. Before start checklist, flight door is closed and lock fuel. We have 5 tons, we need 4.5. We have 4 pumps on, passenger signs on, windows locked on my side and locked on the FO side. The windows are kind of delicate, and if you don't close them properly, they tend to open during takeoff roll. MCB is all set. I had 148, yeah. Okay, I lost the power. 148 to 77, and since there is no ATC, we can go flight level 100 initially straight away. See a pre-flight, takeoff legs completed, radial and trims 3 and 0, taxi takeoff brake completed, anti-collision light on, before start check is completed, and since then we'll call the ground crew and get the airplane ready to go and start pushing back. Okay, so I will release the parking brake. In X-Plane 11 there is this nice feature called better pushback, and here we're still using the default pushback, and we're gonna start pushback. Okay, the sky is driving up. If you're watching me live, guys, and you have any questions, just try to ask on the chat and I will reply to you as soon as I have a moment. I don't expect too many people in the beginning, but I know that's just the beginnings, so probably 1 or 2 or 0 watching up right now. I'm not the most popular stream, I guess. Okay, we're pushing back, so we're gonna start the engine number 2, engine start procedure. Pressure is on, start engine number 2. And she's slowly rolling, and 2. Oil pressure will come up, and 1. 25% recommended. We introduce the fuel. We have some fuel flow in a second. EGT will be increasing, and it is. 56%. Start it out. One stable. Start engine one. And 2. Oil pressure. And 1. %, almost. The valves are closing. Fuel's coming up, and I guess that's enough with pushback. And parking brake set. This guy should disconnect anytime now. Start it out and before. Taxi procedure. So generators on buses, APU off, start switches continuous, propane on, hydraulics are on, packs auto, isolation valve auto, APU bleed off, flaps 5. And we're gonna check the flight controls. So system page, the Ryanair doesn't have this page, definitely they will have only the necessary one, so hydraulic pressure. Full forward, full back, to the left, to the right, and the rudders left, center, right, center. Then we're gonna lower, blank the lower DU. And before we keep moving, we start moving, I will need to do one thing for my computer cooling, just put it on the tray. Since in real life I travel a lot as a pilot, I do use a laptop. I have some kind of MSI gaming laptop, which makes life easier, but in terms of streaming, it sometimes, you know, would be nice to have the stationary PC, but you know, you can wish for everything. It's still better than nothing. Flaps 5, recall before taxi checklist, generators on, propane on, anti-ice off, isolation valve auto, engine start switches continuous. Recall checked, auto brake, RTO, engine start levers, idle tent, flight controls checked. Ground equipment is clear on the left and clear on the right. We are ready for taxi, so we are going to switch on the taxi lights. Release the parking brake. Do the config check. And then we're gonna taxi to runway 28 left. Just in a second I will check if you have the sound levels at acceptable levels. I know, since there is no one to tell me yet, maybe the music is a bit too loud, I guess. Music is a bit too loud, and that should be kind of fine. If you had any thoughts or recommendations for me, what should I improve, what should I do better, don't hesitate to leave me a comment. If you like the channel, would be a nice thing if you subscribe or leave me a like under the video. I know there is a lot of things that I can improve, so I will do my best over the time. But if you have any recommendations, just let me know down below in the comments. Foxtrot Outer, and there is the new tower in Dublin. It's really nice. And I haven't expected that they will open this second runway so quickly. Didn't know that. You know, in my country it's always taking ages. They're trying to build a new airport since like 5 years already and there is nothing yet. So I wouldn't be surprised really. Okay, before takeoff checklist on the way, flaps 5, green light, stop trim 5.5 set, and we expect that at this time we would probably get the cabin secure message from the cabin supervisor. I need my coffee. It's not so early at the place I am now, but I feel, you know, the sun is already rising and you feel it's like really long day ahead of you. So you have a feeling you need a coffee as well. Just a quick glimpse on VATSIM live map. I'm doing my single screen operations, so I have to cycle through Streamlabs and VATSIM map and everything. There's nobody, absolutely no one over Ireland. Dublin traffic, Ryanair 42 tail will be lining up to 8 left, taking off. So, line of procedure, strobe lights on, transponder TA array, and we give some ding dong to the cabin. Just double check there's nobody. Yeah, I don't see anybody at all. I go with weather on my side and rain on the FO side. That would be the usual setup I prefer to have. I like to have the weather and the terrain on his side. That's all depending on the airline and all depending on the captains, of course. But the usual setup would be probably like this. After we depart, I will tell you a couple of words about the project, the channel, what we expect, what we want to do, what we want to achieve, but that's gonna be after we depart. So it will be rolling takeoff, so let's start timing. And takeoff, 40%. Stabilized, I hit the toga button, and one toga. Set takeoff thrust. Thrust set. Check. View on, rotate. We do nice and slow rotation. Don't want to over rotate it.
Positive rate of climb.
Get up. $400. We should have well that would be enough. And command alpha. At 1501 acceleration altitude. The airplane will start accelerating. We go flaps 1. And once we pass 1 speed, we can go flaps up. Flaps up. Nice. I was flying a lot on the X-plane lately, and MFS is different quality in terms of visuals at least. But I really enjoy it. I like it a lot. Okay, flaps up, no lights. The airplane is going to 250 knots, which is standard in here. And we can do the after takeoff checklist. So start switch is still off, landing gear off, auto brake off, and after takeoff checklist. We can read the after takeoff checklist from the yoke. Engine bleeds on, packs auto, landing gear up and off, flaps up, no lights. After takeoff checklist completed. And again, since there is no one, we can go straight up to 370. I will roll the altitude all the way to 370. And just to do the quick cross check, if we can actually reach 370, Optimus 38, maximum 39, so we can easily do that. Transition altitude, set standard. Passing flight level 60, and same on the all sides. Nice, 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 nice. I like this kind of weather for flying, you know. Some clouds. It's nice and cold, so we don't expect any thunderstorms or nothing these days. Maybe some de-icing. Flight level 100. And we can do the flow according to the flap sign. So F for fuel with 4.4. 4 pumps on, lights off. Or L, lights off. We're not going to need logo lights anymore. A for air compress. So cabin is climbing slowly and it's all set. And P for passengers, we can release the passengers. That's a short flight, so we can give them some more time and check the recall. That's the end of our flow at flight level 100. We're gonna do exactly the same on descent. So F for fuel, L for lights, A for air compress, and P for passengers. We should be in Stansted in about 40 minutes, unless I will remove the loop that I showed you before. We have 2.6, minimum is 2, and actually we can do that, since there is no one there. Absolutely no traffic here. Parkway. We have Laurel twice, so we can go Laurel. Parkway. Busta, Laurel. And what's before Parkway? Bombo. Do it like this. Usually you get vectors anyway, so you wouldn't do that. And since that, we should be landing 34. So about 45 minutes from now. We can get cruising speed to 785. Usually airlines, they keep track what you're setting up in the target speed. Target speed is resulting from the cost index that you put into, and they want to keep you at this speed. If you go to econ, you get back to the speed you have here. But since we are just in the simulators, we don't want to go 245 on this end. We'd like to go 280. A bit quicker, so we don't waste time just looking at the screens. 250 below flight level 100. And transition will be, that's American 180, so we'll go at 60. And now it's fine. I'm not used to speaking English in YouTube, so if I'm telling you something weird, just forgive me, please, guys. Just forgive me. And I will take a look. One person viewing us right now. Welcome to channel, guy, man. Welcome. If you have any questions, leave me a message in the chat or leave a comment below the video. Likewise, if you have any advices what we should improve, don't hesitate to leave a comment. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to improve if you have any ideas how to do that. Almost spilled my coffee. Jesus. It's looking nice. It's really realistic. I don't know how to say it. Maybe not realistic, but you can get immersed into it. So I promised you to tell you about the plans, and I don't know if you have listened in the beginning or not. I have created a channel called 737 Aviation a while ago, but I think it was 2016. At the moment we have almost 60,000 subscribers, and I have the other simulation channel in my native language which has over 3,000 subs now. And I thought, or actually we thought, because it's not single man project again, it will be something bigger than one person probably. We would like to create something like the Polish channel. The Polish channel is called Captain Speaking. If you want to take a look, Captain Speaking. We would like to create something like this channel, but in English. For now, as far as I believe, I don't have too many viewers from my Polish channel, but I will try to redirect some of them just to give a live to this channel. And the idea is to create this kind of nice and helpful channel. We would like to get aviation easier, closer to people that don't do that. And we're not doing just any level streaming. We try to do some kind of educational level. If you have any complicated question, we're not just flying from A to B, but if you would like to ask for any systems or procedures on Boeing or other airplanes that we're gonna be flying, you're more than welcome to do that. On the Polish channel, I have started, almost completed the project called Virtual Typewriting, which I have separated into 25 episodes, in which we just purely talking and demonstrating the systems of 737. I have made a pilot episode of that in English on the 737 aviation, and this episode is available on the Red Flag channel. You can find it on this channel somewhere in the videos I have uploaded. Since it was messing up a bit with the YouTube algorithm, and there was some kind of, let's say, traffic flow that was not expecting to be on aviation related channels, I had to remove the simulator videos from the other one, and I put it all in here. So if you'd like to see this virtual typewriting, it should be somewhere in the videos, in the content of the channel. You know, it's not should be, it is somewhere, definitely. Nice day for flying, I love it. The other thing we did was we went to the full-size 737 simulator. Like there are guys, a lot of guys actually having this home-built or even commercially built simulator cockpits, and we did some live streams from this kind of cockpits. If we manage to build at least little audience in here, we try to do that in English as well. It might be something new, it might be something different. There are some people doing that, but we'll give it a try. Maybe you'll like it. And except of the virtual typewriting, which will be continued as well in here on this channel, as soon as I finish the Polish one, I will start recording them in English as well. Maybe I will use the PMDG for all the episodes. We'll see. It's done a bit nicer, it's more detailed than Zibo in X-Plane 11, which is not, you know, surprising, since Zibo is a freeware project, and this one is payware. It's actually quite expensive, so compared to the other add-ons, but it's really nicely done. It's just missing for me the iPads, some kind of, you know, interface to interact with the simulator, not to be stuck only with the FMC. The other one, except the virtual typewriting, will be traveling around the world in the 737 and different airplanes. I do have all the add-ons, including maybe not all the add-ons, all 737 add-ons from 737-200, so the first generation, called the original. Then I have 737-300, which is classic. I used to fly classics in my life. Actually, I did start flying a classic. Then we have NG, obviously we have PMDG, we have Zibo, we have some level up in X-Plane 11. So we do have all versions from 600, 700, 800, 900. And then we have Max on X-Plane, which is kind of nice. It's not really fully detailed yet, but it's based on Zibo and it's kind of nice. And as I told you before, I used to fly 3 generations of 737. I started up on classics. I flew 737-400, which was this kind of, you know, steam engine. It didn't have displays, at least not too many. It just had small PFD and really small ND below it. Then I moved to NGs, which I did like a lot. I flew 700, the short version, 800 obviously when I had only 800, and one 700, and then I flew a 900, the longer one. The 900 is the 220, 212 people, 212 passengers. It's longer by like 3-4 meters. It has additional sections on the tail. And then I flew a 737 MAX 8, which I don't like in terms of flying, but it's really nice and quiet inside. It's nice working environment in MAX. So altogether on 737s I have more than 4,000 hours. And altogether flying it's above 5,500. I flew some different airplanes in my life except 737s. I flew a Honda jet, like kind of business jet. It's a small airplane. You can see some videos flying on the Honda jet on the channel. I'm not sure if you have actual Honda jet videos, but definitely you have the simulator videos in MFS that's coming from the Honda jet that is available in the market. It's nicely done. I was working with the developer on the Honda jet, trying to improve the system, so they are quite nicely done. And beside the Honda jet I was flying a King Air C90 and obviously some general aviation airplanes, including of course Cessnas, Senecas and all the smaller or bigger airplanes. So we are slowly reaching 370 and the top of descent is coming up quite soon, so I believe we should start preparing for the approach. Why I can press legs in here? I can. Rugby at 200. Let's take a look what you would say. 206, so actually correct. Speed 250 at Bumble. And then, yeah. Okay, runway 04 in Stansted. I put in the rings and we have 1000 to level off. And let's get the Navigraph charts on. Now we are going to move to Stansted, Echo Golf Sierra. London Stansted. Charts. The arrival we have selected Listo. Ah, not this one, my bad. Laudel. I'm not sure because now I have changed that, modified. But we started from Listo 1 Lima. So let's go to Listo 1 Lima. At least go through that one. So we have this little loop here, which I have removed. We go from Listo. Yeah. Listo to Paddock, then Rugby at 200, then Finma 150, then left to Bumble, Let's put the scale down a little. Boom boom. And then instead of Barkway, Boost and Laurel, I just went to Laurel and then I start the approach. We're gonna intercept the approach from this, approach from Laurel, from Abbott, from Laurel at 6,000, it's 70 here. We can go at 6,000 to Laurel. Then it's looking like this, then left to intercept the ILS. And let's take a look how far is it to top of descent. 10 miles, yeah. Let's go. Initially down to 250. And 250 is set. Then ILS. Runway 04. ILS DME. Runway 04 is 1105. 1105 set on both sides. Final approach track 042. Zero 42. 042. That's a short flight, and we should start descent in 10 miles from now. But I can go alt int, so the airplane will start descent just now. If we do this like that, we'll start descent now, but it will be a bit smoother. It's not gonna straight away dive. It will start with 1000 feet per minute, then intercept the final ascent. 042, 042 minimums are 532. Let's set the minimums as well. Unless we're doing the category 2 or 3 approach, we're gonna set bottom minimums 532. 532. It's set, and we are going to vacate the runway to the right. 10-9. Airport briefing. I don't want to airport briefing. Airport 30-9. We're gonna vacate via Papa Romeo and then taxi to Apron. Delta or Charlie. If we're flying from the islands, we are going to be parked at Charlie or Deltas, usually. So something around auto brake 2. And we are going to use another 400 kilograms, which will be 63.7. And VREF on flaps 3146. That's all done. I checked the recall. And we already prepared for the approach. We can do the descent check, pressurization, landing altitude 350 set, recall. Checked. Auto brake level 2. Landing data, VREF 146, minimums 532. Same on both sides. Approach briefing completed, next descent checklist. And since we are approaching top of descent, I would go seatbelt signs on. And we should be landing in around 20 minutes from now. I don't want to lie to you, but yeah, 25 minutes from now we should be landing in London Stansted. Descent page, legs page, all the systems are running up. If you have any questions, guys, you can just drop a message on the chat or just down in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer anytime I see it. That's my favorite Ryanair airplane. It's very old. As you know, Ryanair was registering the airplanes with ascending order, so Delta Charlie Lima, then following the alphabet. So if you see Echo something something, that's a bit newer airplane, and then you have Golf, which is quite new, and Hotel. There are few hotels. They are very new airplanes. It looks nice, huh? Maybe the contrails in MFS are not really realistic. They're a bit square. And they really square actually. Maybe my computer doesn't handle that well. I do not have any visual add-ons, so that might be the reason. But it's looking nicely. At least in this library we can pass through the door and see the cabin. For some reason we have business seats, like in Ryanair I've never seen these seats. Just a little curiosity, you know that Ryanair has one 737-700, and this 700 it's not really flying on regular routes. It's used mainly for the flight training. So after you do the initial type rating on 737, you go to the airlines, you have to do the base training, so you have to do the 6 takeoffs and landing, the traffic patterns, and they usually do that on 737-700. And additionally, it can be chartered, and if you have this flight chartered, you can choose between all economy seats, and it's then 147 I think, or 148, I don't want to lie to you, or 6, or you can choose in all business configuration, then you have like 30 seats. But I don't think too many people would fly Ryanair with business configuration. Probably it happened, but I don't know nothing about that. And do you know, guys, about Ryanair, what other airplane than 737 they have in the fleet? That's the good question. Do you know if Ryanair has any other airplanes in the fleet than a 737, 700 and 800? Yeah, 1000 level. We can continue descent to, I don't know, 100. Yeah, 100 set. And let's take a look on the VATSIM live map, if there is anyone just around. The Heathrow is active, and it seems like I'm the only one flying to Stansted at the moment. This one Ryanair from Prague is passing 23,000 feet, so he will be landing a bit sooner than me. But fine, let's do that like this. And there's one guy, but he's far away. Yeah. And in Stansted we have QNH of 1017 and just like the winds, so not really much wind, about 4 knots. I said 1017, did I? 1017. It's pre-selected. So the other airplane that Ryanair has in the fleet is Learjet. They have a business jet. They have actually 3 or 4 Learjets. The Learjets are used to deliver parts, crews, mechanics in the event of, AOG. If we have any technical failure, when we are out flying, we land somewhere, they're gonna send the Learjet with the mechanics if there are mechanics not available, or if you get stuck for a long time somewhere and you will get out of hours, they will send a new crew with Learjet to fly you back to the base. And it's actually nothing surprising. Most of the companies, they do have some business jets or some turboprops or something, just in order to get the things running. I'm not sure if the radar is working in PMDG. I can give it a try. Weather plus turbulence. Auto doesn't work. But this one should. Doesn't really look like it's working, but fine. So guys, if you're enjoying the stream, leave me a comment, leave me a like, or leave me a subscribe, or hit the subscribe button. If you have any suggestions or something that you would like to change, again, I'm happy if you leave me a comments and we try to do it better next time. As you know, I did some streaming, but I did it in my native language. I didn't stream a lot from the MFS 2020, so I'm kind of new to streaming from this one. And yeah, still learning, but hopefully it will be all nice and in order anytime soon. Yeah, we don't need to fly all the way down there. Usually we wouldn't just do the shortcut, we would wait for the ATC to give us the shortcut, but since there is other guy and I don't want to cross with him too much, I will just cut the corner a little so we land before he does, or we won't meet on very final. In a couple of months I'm moving to the new place, and in the new place I will have some PC instead of the laptop, and I hope we'll be able to stream in the better quality than HD. So stay tuned, because this one is looking nice, but if we get 4K or something better like 1400 points, that would be nice. Even the wool on the seats is looking interesting. If you see some pictures of 737 and you have these seats, they really look kind of grey. But once I flew the 737 that was like 3 weeks old, and this wool is almost white. So that's the fact, the interesting fact. And as you see, the PMDG is nicely done with all the details, all the decals, even the smallest decals On the oxygen mask, everything is nicely done here. It's kind of a new level of simulation. Even you can open the jump seat and see the jump seat opening process, which is not that easy. It's kind of complicated on 737 to open and close the jump seat, and if you are new and if you're flying on the jump seat for the first time, it's taking a while. And there is the other jump seat here. This one is optional, so in some airplanes you would have a cushion here and the extra oxygen mask, which is here, but this one is not really comfortable. You can basically, once you open this jump seat, let's take a look how it's going. Yeah, let's go to 8,000. Then we're gonna discuss the jump seat. If you take a look, let's say that's the average size man. So basically your knee is gonna be fitting somewhere between this seat and this seat. If I'm 180 centimeters high, my knees are somewhere between here and here. And if you want to fly on this jump seat, sometimes you can have 4 people on the flight deck, not really often. Then one of your knees is here and the other shouldn't exist. So that's impossible to fly on this one unless you're like 160 centimeters tall. Okay, we're going down to 6,000 feet. We are going to set the QNH of 1017. Passing 1017, sorry, 1017, passing 12,000 feet, 1017, 1017, set 3 times. Approach checklist, altimeters 1017, 3 times set, approach checklist completed. And we are approaching 10,000 feet, so 10,000 feet check, fuel balanced, 4 pumps, lights on, air compressed, descending set, passengers are strapped in, recall checked, that's 10 checks completed. Good. Almost there, guys. Almost there. About 10 minutes to landing from now. Actually, 32, yeah, 12 minutes to landing. Track required, but it's gone. At 10,000 feet, you will see the VNAV slowing the airplane down to 250 knots. Casper 9, hello. You're the first one to write something on chat today, so thank you very much and welcome to the channel. Yeah, just keep descending. For some reason she went into VNAV speed and she went over the path. It can happen like this, that the airplane will get over the path and get to VNAV speed, but it wouldn't happen in this kind of condition. Like, it needs a lot of wind to get that. We'll give it a little speed break so we get back on path. And once we get back on path, it will get back to VNAV path. At least it should get back to VNAV path. Now let's stow it slowly back. drag required, and then we go to 2,500 feet. Enough path, as you see. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And in real life you should stow and extend speed brake very slowly. Otherwise it's a big bump for the passengers. On NG it's not that hard to do that slowly because the lever is going very heavily. It's heavy. It's not so easy to pull it too quickly. But on max it's like, you know, it doesn't have any friction, so you can just pull it and bam, smash it all the way back, and then it's kind of not pleasant for the passengers. Again, drag required. I give it a bit of drag. Not too much, but to help her a little to slow down to 220 knots. Munchy overload. Hello, welcome to channel, guys. Where are we now? Stansted, and this guy is just departing Stansted, and I'm gonna be first to land. We do have 28 miles to go, so we're kind of low for now. You'll be fine with 28 miles. You'll be fine, believe me. Is there any restriction you have here on legs page? Looks good to me. We shouldn't have too much level flight in here, but for some reason VNAV has calculated that we have a level flight, so that's okay. Fine enough. VNAV is nothing but a computer, and I should be calculating that myself more exactly. If you're there, guys, I have a good question to you. How about the sound levels? Do you hear the engines, and do you hear the airplane? I want to adjust that, but I didn't have anyone to tell me just yet. And we have all checklists completed. We just need to extend the flaps and the landing gear, and we'll be good to land. Unfortunately, there's no ATC today, so I cannot simulate anything, but next time we'll try to find a place that will be stuffed. The ATC will be there. We'll see. And I'm flying on a simulator since like 2008. I have started on FS, maybe not 2008, maybe even earlier, because I was in high school when I started on the flight simulator 2002. That was a long time ago, man. Then 2004 FSX X-Plane 11, which was kind of my favorite for a long time, and then MFS. Yeah, so I was simming for a long time now. And this one is whole new level of simulation. I remember 2002, FS 2002, which was really like, if you recall the graphics quality right now, it was garbage compared today to this one, but a long time ago was so nice and good. Okay, let's go flaps 1. We're at the turning final. 1000 level and flaps 5. I will arm the speed brake early. Oh, it's easier than I expected. So on a 737, a real one, you have to really be delicate with the speed brake to arm it nicely. Flaps 10. We're gonna arm the approach mode, since we have correct sensing. Approach is armed, Volo armed, lights are armed. Volo captured. Runway heading 042. We have 9 miles to go. We'll get the start switch continuous. I would do that on gear down flaps 15, but since I'm a single crew, it's a bit harder. I do that early. You can see something outside, huh? It's not that bad. And Stansted traffic right now 40 tell on 8 miles final runway 04 in Stansted. I started with MFS 2004, like 2004, 2005. Okay, then definitely you're all younger than me. But it was nice. 2004 was kind of nice with all these vintage airplanes. Lights up alive, flaps to capture, we go key down, flaps 15, reduce the speed to 15. Yeah, this guy is behind me, which is fine. Flaps 30. Final speed will be 151. And missed approach altitude 3000 feet set. Landing checklist, engine start switches, continuous, speed brake, armed, landing gear, down, flaps 30, we check if we have 30 as well here, 30, green light, landing checklist completed. I do hope that I will not crash on my first flight on this channel. $1,000 stabilized, and we have around 60% and 1, which is correct. Let's get ready for landing. Do I see the runway yet? Yeah, the runway is in sight. So let's get the autopilot throttle off. I have to assign the buttons for that. I don't have any assigned buttons yet. What?
400. 300. Approach Approaching minimums.
Contact.
200. Minimums.
Landing.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brakes up. 2 reversers. We try to keep it on the center line. And manual braking. Yeah, we're not gonna get Papa Romeo, I guess. Or maybe. 60 knots. The maximum speed to vacate via the rapid exit taxiway is 60. And reverse is off. I got some message on VATSIM, but I don't see any. I guess I will stop just after vacating. I will set the parking brake for a second and just take a look what's the message about. Stansted Tower 1238. 1238, nice. At least we can try it VATSIM. Stansted Tower and F4 detail. Very good morning, vacated via Papa Romeo. Hotel Bravo 24 left, run F4 detail. For some reason, again, I hear the VATSIM via speakers and I do hear... Okay, this is off. Hotel, that's the first left, then Bravo and 24 left. I will try to find it in a second. If you want to retract the speed brake, you can do it like this. And I will start the APU as well. Start switch is off. Transponder off. And we go to Navigraph. Charts. Stansted, and taxi 309. That's Papa Romeo, so Bravo is the second one. Or is not. Hotel. What's that, Quebec? Romeo, yeah, Bravo is the next one. Bravo is there. And stand 24 left will be Bravo and 24 left, just in here. First one on the right. Yeah, I should minimize the Navigraph instead, turning it off. AP on boss. Microphone and output via this one, apply, okay. And Stansted Tower 40 Hotel, just for radio check, please.
Yeah, readability 5 there, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, now it's better. That's the Bravo, and 24 left will be the second on the right. 3 minutes past, we can go engine number 2 cut off. On 737 it's nice and easy to taxi on one engine. Maybe when it's not too heavy, but after the regular flight it's it doesn't really feel the difference between one engine taxi and 2 engine taxi. Oops. Yeah, 2 for left, Bravo. Let's take this one. And 2 for left, gonna be the first one. It's just in here. 24, 24 left is this dotted line. 24 right. Taxi lights off. 24 right, 24 left. And usually you would get to this point, and in Stansted there would be no one to marshal you into the gate. And you cannot really get into the gate without anyone in here. I don't have any custom scenery on Stansted. I believe I should get it, but yeah, far enough for me. Parking brake is set. We are on the APU, so shut down, belts off, and shutdown procedure. I leave one pump for the APU. Just wonder how many things I missed after landing. That's usually FO would do the cleanup and the captain would taxi, but in single crew it's a bit more difficult. It's pity that the guy just came up after landing. But you know, happens. Okay, beacon off. And the shutdown checklist. Again, we have to dive into the documents. The shutdown checklist is only printed and it's only on the glare shield checklist, which is located in here in this box. Shutdown checklist: fuel pumps, 1 for APU, probe heater off, hydraulic panel set, flaps up, parking brake set, engine start levers cut off, weather radar off, actually not off, off. Shutdown check is completed. Next is secure checklist. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stansted. Thank you for flying with me today. Hope you did enjoy the stream. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button. If you didn't, give me some comments and what should I improve on the stream. Not simulation, but I want to go to FS actions. If you left me any messages on the chat, I will jump into the chat just in a second. Ground services. I would like to have the ground power. Chocks first. Ground power, please. And those. Airster extend. Yeah, it's extending from the airplane. Even in Stansted, if they have jetways, Ryanair will always use airsters. It's quicker than jetway and the time is critical in this airline. Ground services, I have ground power, and what else I need? Probably potable water lavatory. We don't have the maintenance. I mean, we have maintenance in Stansted, but we won't usually ask for that. Pax entry, Pax boss request, maybe. They usually will just walk into the terminal in Stansted without using the buses. Sometimes they need to be bussed if it's Schengen stand and they go into non-Schengen or something. Front loader, aft loader cards and aft cards. Everything is coming up nicely. And since we do have the ground power, we go to ground power, we switch off the pump, we switch off the APU. The APU can run without the fuel pump on. It has its own fuel pump, but it's recommended that you will switch on one of the electric pumps for the prolonged operations of the APU. So guys, welcome to Stansted. I hope to see you on the next flights. Casper 9, yeah, set also with FS20 2004, I'm not sure now as I have both. It's something like 2010. Probably 2010 you started with 2004. 2002 was really like low quality sim. 2004 was nice. I was console peasant 2010, got on PC 2017 because I wanted to get back into flight sims. That's a good decision, man. Do London Stansted to Rome next. We can do that, why not? We can actually, instead of traveling around the world, we can travel across the Rhine network. And Stansted to Ciampino is kind of a popular destination as well. Why not? Sounds like an idea. But we'll do that actually in New Year, because on Monday I have my vacation, and on Monday I'm leaving to South America, and my ambitious plan is to fly around the world as a passenger, obviously, but still something, and to come back to Europe probably around 10th, maybe 15th of January, and then yes, we'll do some more flights on the channel. And the VATSIM, for some reason, every time I start VATSIM, it's playing the sound of VATSIM through the laptop speakers, not the headset. Since that, you cannot hear it. But I will work on that, definitely. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for taking active part in the stream. And I hope to see you next time. And I suppose I should do the secure checklist. Usually we would fly another sector, so we wouldn't do the secure checklist, secure procedure, secure checklist, but since we already ended, we go IRSs off, fuel pumps off, galley power stays on. You don't really switch it off until requested. Once everybody is off the airplane, you switch off the emergency exit lights. I can even switch it on here. Zibo doesn't have it. Nice. And you can see exterior lights. Those two small lights, they coming up with the emergency exit lights. Plus, if you have the slides open, these lights will illuminate the slide. So once they testing the emergency exit lights inside, you can see that outside as well. I don't know if you have noticed that. You have these little LED lights illuminating the potential evacuation routes. Okay, going back to the overhead panel. Switch it off. If you forget to switch it off and to switch off the battery, they will still be running. So I show you like this. As you see, the lights are off, but once I will switch off the ground power and I switch off the battery, the emergency exit lights will come up and they will have battery for about 20 minutes of operation. And if the battery is dead, you cannot depart for the next sector. You have to recharge the battery, which takes a long time again. So you shouldn't at least forget to disconnect it. And since we have chocks on, we can release the parking brake. You have this brake pressure here, and if the parking brake is set, it will lose the brake pressure after a couple of days anyway, and the parking brake won't hold. That's all done, and the last thing we can read is the secure checklist. IRS off, emergency exit lights off, window heat off, packs off, that's my bad. Packs off, secure checklist completed. Thank you very much and enjoy your day, guys. If we don't see each other before Christmas, and we probably won't, I wish you everything the best for Christmas and Happy New Year, guys. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye bye.